Adventuring in cities can be a ton of fun. Sure, I love going out into the forest and the jungles in the Underdark, exploring those places and fighting monsters, but sometimes a city setting is just what your D&D game needs. You get to go around, explore all these cool places within the city. Maybe you meet the king, maybe you meet a crime lord. You can go to shops and taverns, have a bar fight, go gambling. All sorts of cool stuff can happen in your D&D games set in a city. But what type of creatures are there? What type of people are we going to meet? Well, Cawood Gaming has given us a book to help us out with just that. So today we're going to take a look at that book. Let's get into it. Hello everybody, I'm Joe and this is the DM Toolbox, your go-to place to find all the tools to help enhance your D&D games. Before we get started today, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Toolbox_DM and on TikTok at DM Toolbox, where I do a lot of short mini reviews of a lot of the products you see here and some other ones you may not have seen yet. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out, it helps me grow my channel, and I can bring you more content. Also, when we hit 500 subscribers on this channel, which is coming up really soon, I'm going to be giving away 5th edition Foes from Frog God Games. This is an amazing 5e monster book filled with all sorts of awesome stuff. It's got a very 1st edition AD&D feel, but it's all 5th edition creatures. Okay, let's talk about monsters in the city. So, Cawood Publishing has given us this really great book. It's called Monsters of the City, Sins and Virtue. And what I like about this book is two things, and they're both themes. First off, this book is set in a city. It is a monster book specifically for the city. Secondly, it has another theme of sins and virtues. So let's talk about the first theme, the city. So what they've done with this book is they've broken up the book to have different types of creatures in each district. So we're going to have the castle district, the wealthy district, the temple district, the market district, the docks, the slum, and finally the sewers. And I like how they broke it up like that because we're going to have different types of characters in those different types of areas. The book starts off with a nice little introduction, and they tell us, don't forget when you are creating a city, ask yourself things like, where is the settlement located? How big is the setting? What's the population? Who's the ruler? What kind of governments? What kind of conflicts? What's the economy like? What's the, who provides the security? Things like that. And it's a nice little just kind of prompt to get you to kind of get that city going. Now, a few weeks back, I did a review on Nordgame's Spectacular Settlements, which kind of takes that concept, but much bigger and helps you really create these in-depth cities. So I kind of like the idea of maybe using that Spectacular Settlements book to create a city, and then using this book to really help to start populating that city. Nord has these really good NPC books, which I will be covering in a later video. But this book is a little different, and I'm going to show you why. First off, one thing they do give you in this book is that they do have this whole table of city adventure hooks. I like having adventure hooks ready for me to go. I actually like to play a little game with my kids sometimes when we're out at a restaurant and they're like, I'm bored. I'm like, all right, let's play adventure hooks. And they will give me a quick sentence, something to spark an adventure hook, and then I'll start coming up with a story around it. And they always think it's really cool how I do that. So it's nice to have this little list here. This is a 2d20 list of adventure hooks. And then each district that we go through has its own encounter table, like a little d20 encounter table. So some really nice stuff there. But that's not what sets this book apart from others. What really makes this book different is its second theme, which is that sins and virtues part. So what they have done is they have taken the 7 deadly sins. Like if you've seen the movie The Seven with Brad Pitt, right? What's in the box? They've taken those and then they've taken their counterpoints, these virtues, and they've given them stat blocks. They've made them into creatures. So if you are unaware of what the sins are, the sins are pride, gluttony, wrath, greed, lust, envy, and sloth. The virtues, the counterpoints to each of those, is going to be humility, temperance, patience, charity, chastity, kindness, and diligence. So each district has a sin and a virtue. And like I said, they've literally made a stat block out of these. So if we look in the castle district, our first one here is going to be pride. And here she is, right here. Here's pride. And here's her stat block. And she's a CR23 devil. So I'm going to read you the little excerpt here to kind of give you an idea of what is pride. The castle district is heavily influenced by a devil known as Pride. She appears as a spider-like fiend who prowls around in an immense castle. Held in her grasp are large needles that she can use to knit or attack. She's a spoiled princess with an enormous ego. Completely blind to her faults, this proud devil is supremely confident and bold. The fiendish princess feels she deserves to be pampered and worshipped. Pride is notorious for hosting wild bawdy parties in her sprawling castle. She desperately needs to be the center of attention. Many minions serve the obnoxious monster, including other fiends, nobles, anti-paladins, consorts, and many kinds of spiders. So it kind of goes on a little bit more, but you kind of get the idea of the spoiled princess, right? So, you know, in my mind here, maybe you might not realize she's this spider-like devil at first. She probably hides that. And then, you know, if an encounter was to happen, that would be revealed. But she can be kind of like the BBEG of the castle district. On the other side, we have humility. So here's humility right here. And he also is a CR23. And this says about him, acting as a counterbalance to the fiendish pride is the celestial known as humility. This divine creature appears as an old, disheveled man, clad in robes and wielding a wooden staff. Even though he lives a simple life, he prefers to reside in the castle district. This is where he feels he can make the biggest difference. Humility wants to influence leaders and other high-ranking citizens. He is a divine being and knows that everyone and everything have more similarities than differences. This celestial doesn't treat anyone or anything differently. Humility gives the same respect to the king as he does to a peasant. And it goes on, but you kind of get the idea that he is this like kind of kind-hearted old man, appears kind of peasantish, but he's looking to do good. So he could maybe be the patron of the party to help fight against pride. Or if you're running an evil campaign, he could be the you know, your BBGG, I guess, your big bad good guy that you're fighting. You know, another thing I should point out about this book, you can kind of see how we've got these counterbalances of pride, humility, sins, and virtues. This book, it leans heavily on alignment. Nowadays, a lot of people seem to push alignment aside. Alignment doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You know, they say alignment is relative to whoever, you know, from a certain person's perspective, right? If you are a bad guy, you might not think you're a bad guy. You might think you're doing good, right? You know, I have a friend, my original DM, who his world is very much like that. If you read his books that he's written, he writes novels as well. You know, you're kind of they're being told from the perspective of a character in what maybe from an alignment point of view is the evil kingdom, but you're rooting for her. She's you know, she's a hero of sorts, but you know, she doesn't think she's bad. She's doing good things. She just maybe does them in not the best way. But you know, it's relative there. That's good, and I like that. I think that's awesome that people can do that. But you don't have to do that. There are people who like alignment and want to use it, and this book really just leans into it and says, this is good and this is evil, and that's it. And they kind of start to wash away that gray area. And that's a neat thing to see nowadays. You don't see it a lot. So this, I think that makes this book stand out compared to a lot of newer stuff that is more gray area. And they've done a good job with it. They've really had some fun with it. Like here's our anti-paladin, right? and we have our court jester. I mean, each of these things, each of these characters, and this is just the castle district. We've got a dwarven ambassador and an elven ambassador here. They've leaned more into alignment in this book, and I like that. If we go to another chapter here, I think page 4. Here we go. Here's on page 43. We have the temple district. So here we've got wrath as our sin, and look at that. He looks like one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. And then we have patience as our virtue, and she kind of looks almost like a Valkyrie or something. So they've done this for each district where they've gone back and forth and created this balance of kind of a good versus evil type of thing. And it's fun. I think it's really cool. It adds some flavor. The other thing I should really point out about this book, by the way, that I haven't mentioned is the artwork. The art in this book is so cool. It's such a different style. I really, really like this artist. I think they did a wonderful job on this book. Let's see what the artist's name is. In fact, I believe the guy from the publisher actually told me that it was the artist's idea to do the whole Sins of Virtue thing too. Travis Hansen. So he's the illustrator of this book, and it is super, super cool. Here we go. Here's our lust sin. And here is our chastity. I think I already showed you this one, but there's chastity. So yeah, I mean, really fun book, really cool, really well done. The other thing we have in here is in the back, we have got a little map of a city. And we have our monster lists, which is cool, right? So we have our monsters by challenge rating and by type. So always a good thing to have in any monster book. Definitely helps. And then we've got 2 player character subclasses. We've got the Cleric Domain of Truth and the Paladin Order of the Heart. So these are both somewhat mentioned in the book, so they added those in the back for us. And then we have a couple event tables. So we've got City Events Table A and Table B, which are D100 tables that we can just roll up some random stuff to do in the city. And then we also get some encounter and location tables. So each district had an encounter, but then we've got this D100 kind of generic all over the city type of encounter table. So super cool. Now, Cawood also, I kept saying Cawood. Cawood also has some other books, right? They've got other monster books. They have a cool Feywild one that looks super cool that I really want to check out. And they have an Underdark one, which I am obviously a big fan of the Underdark if you've seen any of my videos on the AAW products, which I have over here. But so those are books definitely I think are going to be worth checking out. They also have a campaign setting, and it seems like this book definitely ties into their setting a little bit. You see this Alliance of the Griffin. This seems to be a recurring theme for them. And one thing I will notice is as I kind of flip through this book and read this stuff, it's not just talking about the monsters, but there's a bit of a story being told in the book as we go through. You definitely get a sense of, I don't want to say it's a campaign itself or an adventure, but there's a story, and you could kind of pull elements of that right into your game, which is super, super cool. So very unique design of a book. I like it a lot. Now, Cawood did send me this book. They actually contacted me, and they're like, hey, if we send you a book, will you do a review? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They sent me the softcover version. There is a hardcover as well. Generally speaking, I am more of a hardcover book fan because I use my books a lot, and softcovers I think tend to not hold up as well for me. But they are also a lot lighter, which is nice. So easy to carry to game sessions and things like that. But both the softcover and the hardcover are print-on-demand books. Or you can get the PDF. So in the description of the video, I'm going to put a link to Cawood's site where you can buy this book and their other books. They do have some really cool stuff I suggest you check out. But you can either get the PDF from them, or I believe they have the links to order the PODs. So definitely check it out. I think if I order another one myself, I'll probably order a hardcover just because like I said, I'm a hardcover fan. But as far as the quality, It's good. I mean, I've done a few different print-on-demand books now, and I've been happy with all of them. They've always been really good. They look nice. They feel nice. You know, just as good as any published book can be. So, yeah, that's it, guys. This is Cawood's Monsters of the City, Sins and Virtues. Definitely worth checking out. So, don't forget, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I really, really want you guys to have a chance to win this book, and you have to be subscribed to win it. So do that, and hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving that away. So that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and until next time, roll those dice.